Hi, welcome to WellSpy. In this short video, I'm going to show you how I use WellSpy to manage my trading, analyze my positions on our position screen and on our dashboard. Let's get started. Here you can see I've created a demo account. I've imported some existing trades, and now I'm going to explain those trades so that we can analyze them. So let's start with these XBI trades. These XBI trades, as you can see, if you look closely, is a strangle. As a strangle, I opened and closed back in May. Now I can select these trades individually, or I can go up to the group and I can select them as a group. I select all those trades. Now I've got those trades selected. I can explain them over here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to explain is, the first thing I'm going to do is give them a book. We use books to segregate trades. And a lot of what you see here is ways to filter and segregate your trading. And you might, for example, do equity trading and options trading, and you might want to see those and analyze those trades differently. The way you do that is generally by putting them in a different book. In this case, it's all options trade, so I'll put them in a book which I call options. Of course, that book doesn't exist, so I can create it simply by typing options and hitting this create options, and those trades will go into there. The next thing I'll do is give this position a position name. Now the reason why I do that is, the best example is if I only did strangles on XBI and say I did strangles every week, how do I tell them apart? And how I tell them apart is via the position name. And of course you can call anything any position whatever you like. The way I do things is I use a naming convention so that when I look at the name, I know exactly what it is. So my naming convention goes like this. I do the underlying, then I do the date I entered the position, which was the 2nd of May 24, and the type of position it was. This was a strangle. Okay, so that's what I'm going to call this position. I fill in the strategy. If I'd come up with my own new strategy or use a strategy that's not in the list, I can simply type it in and create it, much like I did with the position name and the book. But of course, this is a standard strategy, so I'm going to select one that already exists, and it's a strangle. Next thing you do is you can give a trade or a position tags, and those tags are another way to filter. An example of why you may do that, say for example you're following a YouTuber, you could use that YouTuber's name as a tag, and therefore filter on that. And you can provide multiple tags, so that's up to you. The last thing here you can do is provide some notes. So if you are keen to journal all your trading activity, this is where you provide some notes. But for this demonstration, I'm going to show the filtering and the analytical side of WellSpy, so I'm not going to worry about going any further than the strategy. So we'll save those changes and we'll move on. I'm going to leave the cues to last, and I'll explain why that is when I get there. Let's do NVIDIA. Okay, so same story here. I've opened and closed this position through this set of trades. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to put them in the options book, which now exists because I've already put something in the options book. So I select the options book and I come to position name, follow my naming convention, NVIDIA. And what date was that? It was the 9th of August 24, and it was a short put. Okay, and I go down the list and I pick short put. And there you go. So save that. Move on to IWM. In IWM, I've got two positions here, one back in March and another one in August. Let's select the March one. You can select these rows. Of course, you can select it at group level, but because we have two positions here, that doesn't really help us. You can select individually by clicking, or what's faster is if you click the row using the arrow keys and the space bar, I can quickly select all these March expiry trades. Okay, these ones I did back in March is actually a 112. So let's follow the same convention, IWM, and that was the 22nd of Jan that I entered. And what do you say? 1, 1, 2. Okay, create that. Strategy 1, 1, 2. Save those changes. And what's remaining now, I can select all the remaining ones, is a strangle. So put that in options, IWM, enter that on the 21st of May 24, strangle. And I select strangle again, and I save those changes. Okay, so that's all of those trades. Now I left the queues to last for a reason, and that reason was at this position I haven't closed off, it's an open position. Now I can put in the options book, of course, I can do whatever I want, but how I trade is I have all my open positions in my open book. So I can see those and manage what's open a lot easier. I'll follow the same naming convention. So here, QQQ, and that was done on what, the 5th of September 24, and it's a short put as well. Short put, number 24. Cool. Short put, save changes. Okay, that's all the trades explained. Let's have a look at what that looks like in the positions grid. So if I come over here, you can see I have my two books. And let's have a look at the NVIDIA short put. Here you see one row. So there was 3 trades there. There was, I think, 2 trades on entry, 1 trade on exit. That's all been aggregated into one row. And that one row is your position for that instrument. So for something like the XBI Strangle, there's of course 2 instruments. So each one gets aggregated, with any buys or sells, and what we end up with is any realized profit, any unrealized profit, and anything else you might be interested in. I'm interested in net proceeds, which isn't the default. But you can see here, you can select any of these columns. You can have a look at costs or whatnot, and have a look at those very quickly as a result. The reason why I do net proceeds is because I'm an options trader. I want to see what premium I've either paid or collected. So that tells me that very quickly. What you can also do is have a look at the trade. So if I double click this short put, that will open up the trades that I've specified were in this position. And you can see such things as, the price you entered, the price it is now, we think it is now, the proceeds, costs, that sort of thing for each trade. You can also see how we've come up with this number of realized P&L. So if I click on the audit, it will explain how we got to 491. And basically, you can see here that you had the 2 trades that opened a position, and then the 1 trade that closed a position, which was actually attributed to those top 2 trades. You can see us basically accumulating that realized P&L. So that explains our calculation. If you've got notes, you can see notes against that, those trades in order. So you could explain why you entered and then why you exited the trade. And you can see that quite clearly here as well. So that's that pane. You can close it, or you can also make this bigger or smaller. You can close it, do whatever you want. And that's pretty much that. Up the top here, you've got a whole bunch of filtering. And this is where we start to see the power of Rollsby. As I say, for me, when I'm managing my open trades, I don't want to see anything else. So I'll click on books here. I'll click open book, and I'll see only my open trades. And once again, if I had loads of trades for other instruments and I only wanted to see my open queues, I could come here and say, just show me my open queues. I'll remove that filter. I can, select which group. I can see my position groups. I can select which strategy. all this filtering is here to enable you to zero in and analyze what you want to see. And of course, you can clear the filter by clicking this clear button. And okay, so we've cleared that. So now we'll move on to the dashboard. Okay, if I click on the dashboard, that should load. Okay, so in the dashboard, I can see various things. I can see various analytics, total P&Ls, realized P&Ls across the account. I can see where I've made money on what instruments, on what dates I've made money or lost money. I should say, you can obviously lose. And I can see over time how that's how my P&L's accumulated over this period of time. I can see my win-loss ratio, that sort of thing. Now I can go a step further. I can go, well, obviously I want to discount my open trade, so I just want to look at the options. So then I can, once again, I use these filters and look at just the options, negating what's open. I can come back here. I can say, well, maybe, and you can do multiple filters at once, but for the purposes here, let's just have a look at the strangles. So here, you can look at the strangles and where I've made money or lost money against strangles. Once again, I can look at short put and have a look at how those are doing. And here I've got unrealized P&L against my Qs. So we have different shades of red or green to show you realized or unrealized. So you can easily see the two. And as I said, if we had tags, I've got tags somewhere, so they've come up. You could filter based on that, and you can look at underlying in isolation. I did 2 trades for IWM, so I can see those in isolation. So you can look at your trading any way you like, and analyze it and see how you're performing. Now, there was one thing that I did before that I should mention, and that is if we go back to positions, and I had this open trade. Now, as I say, how I trade, when I close that trade, I would go back into transactions and I would change it. I would change it to, if I go back in transactions, I would have an unbooked closing position. I would take that unbooked closing position and I would allocate it to this same position group here. And then what I could do here is then I could right click on here and go or move it to the options book because it's now closed. I could also do that by doing this and saying that and put it on options book and saving changes. It had the same effect of moving that trade from one book to another. So that's just how I trade. You can also do that from the position screen. I could go here and I could go on find the position I want, and then I could say allocate to existing options, and that would move that from my open book into my options book. But as I say, that's just how I trade. There's lots of features here, and there's lots of features in our roadmap still to come. I hope you enjoyed the demonstration. I hope it helps, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.